Hi guys, I'm so glad that you decided to learn how to juggle. Of course, this is a definitely tough thing to do. It will be very challenging and you will get very frustrated and you will drop the ball a ton of times. Do not worry. You will definitely have your challenges cut out for you. Now, this video is for beginners and we're going to start with the basics. 1, be in a big, large, empty place. 2, have something to juggle with, preferably something soft, like a hacky sack, something small and manageable that you can put in the palm of your hand. A basketball would not be one of these things. Things not to juggle with as a beginner would be eggs, golf balls, rocks, any kind of food, anything that can break glass, anything big like a basketball or a volleyball. Those are bad things to start your juggling with. As you get more advanced, there's things other than balls. There's juggling pins, triangles, rings. There's new pins with holes in them. It's endless what you can juggle. And you can juggle normal objects too. It gets to be really fun. So, other than that, there are 2 basic maneuvers. There is the drop and there is the scoop toss. And we're going to focus first on the scoop toss. Scoop toss is when you go under and toss up to your left hand. I'm going to back up so that you can see that better. Under and up to your left hand. Under, up. Now I'm filming all of these as my right hand being dominant. If you have a dominant left hand, just switch what I'm doing to the other side. Of course, in American style juggling, when you're doing these routines of back and forth kind of rhythm juggling, everything is very continuous and you'll need to learn how to use both of your hands in all of your tricks. More European style juggling is different. It stops and starts. It's not quite as continuous and it doesn't always have to be symmetrical. But in American style juggling, which is what I'm teaching, you start and stop and use both your hands. So, again, scoop toss under, up, so that your arc is starting in the middle and landing on the outside of your hand so that you can come in and bring it out. That way, when you're juggling with 2 balls, they don't hit each other. Good? You only have 1 ball in the air at a time, in reality. And I think that's it. On to step 2. So step 2 of juggling is when you are going to use 1 ball and you're just going to toss it back and forth. I know, very lame, but it is very helpful. So take your ball, pass it back and forth from one hand to the other. And I know this seems pointless, but it's going to take very much getting used to regulate your throws so that they're all the same energy going up and going down so that you know exactly where you're going to put your hand to catch it. Because later when you have many balls, then it's going to be very frustrating to not know where your balls are going to land. So take 2 balls, take 1 ball, go back and forth between your hands. Once you've done that about 50 times in a row without looking at it or dropping it, then you can move on to 2 balls. 2 hacky sacks. Now, you're doing scoop toss back and forth to do exchanges where 1 ball comes down and the other ball leaves your hand. That's an exchange. Scoop toss under and up. I'm going to scoot back so you can see this. I'm doing a overly dramatic underswoop so that you can see exactly how the motion goes. Also, if you're having trouble with these, you can just do the swoops and then not catch them, and then later you can work yourself up to catching. And as you will know later in the video, you can get some tips on how to help you with the exchanges if you're having trouble on this step, which is perfectly understandable. It is a very difficult step. It's your first step to juggling. Under and forward. The idea is that you want to get this to be started in the middle so that you're throwing to the outside. So in, out. But when you're throwing this, you're catching this one later. So this one is up in the air, and this one you are throwing with this hand in the middle here. I'm going to pretend like that's there. This is hanging in the air. This hand is throwing this ball up like that while this one's coming down. You want to throw it while it's at its peak so that when this one is leaving your hand, this hand coming like this. This one going up, this one coming down. I really hope that made sense. So kind of like that. Once you can do about 15 on each hand, alternating left hand, right hand, alternating which hand you start on, then you can do pretty well. You can move on to 3 balls, and if 3 balls proves to be more challenging, just go back to this step. Step 3, the jug. Now a jug is when you are up to using 3 balls. Now when you're up to using 3 balls, just know that this is the hardest thing to get the hang of. Always whenever you're throwing a ball, it's always in the middle of your hand, in the palm of your hand. So that when you're doing exchanges, it's always just palm to palm, you're using your arms a lot. When you start off your first throw of a 3rd ball, it's in your first couple fingers. If you have golf balls or something small and manageable, it's your index finger, your middle finger, and your thumb together. And then your ring and, you're supposed to be on that finger. Your ring finger and your pinky finger are holding the ball in your palm. 3rd ball. Now, what you do, you throw this one, scoop toss with your fingers. Use your fingers just like you would use your palm. Use it to let go, do what a ball does. A jug is when you get 2 exchanges to make every ball go right back into the same position. It's an up, exchange, exchange, and that's it. Now, if you can do a bunch of jugs right back and forth, that's called juggling. It's awesome. Watch. Now, once you find a good rhythm, it can get really easy for you to get stuck. You're going to drop it a lot. You're going to have to take time to get good enough to keep going. If you can get 1 jug in by your first week of juggling, you are way, way ahead of everyone. I've been working on this for months, and I can still, my record is like 35 exchanges. So, keep in mind 3 balls, very difficult, but there's